Heaven and hell, a state of consciousness, not a place, says Aaron Abke. The following are insightful excerpts from a video by Aaron Abke. I have included a link below for those interested to listen to the full video. The excerpt from the video considers heaven as not a place but a state of consciousness of a human being that anyone has access to.
Nothing has ever been used to control masses of people more so than Christianity's doctrine of heaven and hell. We're taught that life is essentially just about figuring out which religion is the correct one, and based upon that decision, you will spend eternity in one of two locations: eternal bliss or eternal suffering. You only get one shot, and ironically, it has nothing to do with being a good person. It only has to do with what kind of theology you believe in. Now, most of us acknowledge the obvious fact that all spiritual truths are not literal, but point to a dimension of reality that is beyond the literal. A dimension that transcends words and concepts, but that we are nevertheless forced to try and articulate within the rigid confines of human language. And this is not to say that words don't serve as useful pointers to that divine reality, because they certainly do. But at some point, the literalism of words and concepts must be transcended, and we must fall into the experience of that which is real. So in this video, I would like to unveil the metaphysical truths behind these doctrines and illuminate the spiritual reality that these symbols are pointing to. Because ultimately, if something cannot be experienced in any way, then it does not deserve our belief. You only ever hear what you are ready to hear. So if you haven't evolved enough yet, then a certain truth that might be obvious to everyone else will sound like absolute nonsense to you. This is precisely why Jesus taught almost exclusively in parable format. This format is really efficient at communicating spiritual truths, because by the nature of being a story, it challenges the listener to look beyond the surface layer. This is why Jesus said, "The secret of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to those on the outside, everything is said in parables, so that they may be ever seeing but never perceiving, ever hearing but never understanding." Jesus would tell a parable and then say to the audience, "He who has an ear to hear, let him listen." Meaning, there is a deeper truth to these words, but only a few of you are able to hear it. And religion has heard the concept of heaven and hell, but has never for a moment understood it. But what if I told you that everlasting life is not a contractual agreement that we have with God through a mental belief system, but a state of consciousness that anyone has access to? What if I told you that heaven and hell are not geographic locations that we go to once we die, but dimensions of reality that we witness every single day? What if I told you that you have already been to heaven and hell countless times in your life? In this episode, we are reframing the view of these concepts to one which is not abstract and far off in the future, but as the present spiritual reality that Jesus was pointing to. The choice between good and evil, love and fear, heaven and hell.
This brings us to the end of the video. Please leave your comments below and subscribe to this channel for more views about the spiritual teachings.